Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. So today I am going to share with you a card that I learned how to do last night at the virtual crop over on the Facebook page Scrapbooking with Country Craft Creations. So Country Craft Creations is ran by Tammy, and she has her own online shop, and she has the cheapest score tape. She has art glitter glue, but if you want the art glitter glue, I think like tomorrow is probably the last day you can buy it because they don't ship it when it gets too cold because it ruins the quality of it. So definitely check out her store. It also has a lot of paper like Bo Bunny, Graphic 45, Authentique, Cartabella. She has everything on that store. So go ahead and you check that out. The virtual crop was so much fun. It was Friday night, and then it started again Saturday from 3 until 8. So it was a lot of fun. There was 3 challenges on the Saturday. So Friday night I didn't make it because honestly I forgot about it. And then my son and I went to the movies. But Saturday I was there, and there was 3 challenges, and you watched the tutorial and you made the challenge. And I actually really enjoyed that. So it was super fun, and maybe we'll try to do that on this page here. So earlier today I did try to make this card on Facebook Live, but I had to use my cell phone, and the screen just wasn't big enough for you guys to see. So for those of you who watched today and created right along with me, thanks for supporting me and all the hiccups we had. It was quite a show. But anyway, so I've been trying to make this video since like 3 o'clock this afternoon, and it's now like 8 o'clock at night, almost 9 o'clock, and you know, one thing after another. So let's get on with it. What you're going to need, oh, sorry, I guess I should show you the card. So the card is a pop-out twist and fold. So that is so cute. I love it. Twist and fold, twist and fold. So that's the card. My measurements are slightly different. The only one that's different is the cover. So Tammy used 12 by 12 paper, and I don't really have quality 12 by 12 cardstock. I do everything in 8.5 by 11. I don't usually do too many things in 12 by 12 cardstock. So this is, I use this one here when I was doing the tutorial, and this is very thin cardstock that is just going to rip apart. But so this is hers. So the only difference is the size. Hers is 4 by 6, and mine is 4 1/4 by 5.5 when it's folded. So not a huge difference. And you can do this one 4 by the 5.5, but I just did an A2 size. It was fine. So I used 2 sheets of white cardstock, and I'm using 3 different papers out of this paper pad from Hobby Lobby, which is the Denim and Pearls. This is a cute paper pad. I don't know if you guys have seen this one. It's single-sided, but it's like textured. So you have like a rusted metal, pink, some lace pages. I'm just showing you the bottoms really quickly. Some weathered wood, roses, a rusted something or other. It's just kind of neat. Some pearls, flowers. So this paper pad has a little bit of everything in there for you. I really liked it. So I'm going to use the pink polka dot, the blue polka dot, and the pink and blue flowers. And I'm going to put it in white because I just think that the white is really going to bring it out. Probably should use cream to make it look more vintage, but I'm feeling the white cardstock today, so that's what we're going to do. So you're going to need 1 strip of cardstock measuring at 4 1/4 by 11. You're going to need 1 strip at 3.5 by 8 and 1 strip at 3.5 by 10. So go ahead and pause the video now and cut these 3 strips. 4 1/4 by 11, 3.5 by 8, 3.5 by 10. Okay. Hopefully you guys paused the video and you did that. And here we have it. So your 3.5 by 8 triple check the measurement on that one because, well, those of you who were with me earlier today, I did not cut it to the correct size and it will not work. And this is your pop-up mechanism, so it has to be precise. So I cut that on my paper trimmer. For some reason I didn't measure, so I don't know, whatever. But this one's right, so by 8. The 3.5 doesn't really matter, it's really that 8 that matters. So that's those 3. And we will cut our mats out. Yeah, let's do all of it at the same time. I didn't do my mats because I wasn't sure what size I was going to make. But if you're doing the 4 1/4 by what was it? 4 1/4 by 11, then your mat sizes you're going to need 2 at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So that looks like 4 1/8 is the tick before the 4 1/4. So I'll show you in the paper trimmer here, maybe. So it's the big tick before the 4 1/4. This one. Okay. By 5 3/8. So this is 1, 3. So it's the tick after the 5.5. Because I like my mats to be 1/8 of an inch smaller. You can do the 1/4 of an inch, and then that would be 4 by 5 1/4. But do your mats however you want. And then you're going to need 4 small ones, which are 2 3/8 by 3 3/8. So 2 3/8 is the tick before 2.5, and 3/8 is the tick before 3.5. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my mats now. And I'm going to use the flowers. So the part that we're cutting is your inside. We're going to do this top mat, the bottom mat, and these 4 little mats. So if you want to do pattern paper, white paper, pattern paper, white paper, so you can write a sentiment in there, that's really up to you. I'm going to put pictures in mine, probably, or I'll just put a sentiment on, I'll just, you know, put it on white paper and back it. So I need 4 1/8. So you could fast forward to this part of the video, but 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. You're going to need the same size mat for the cover, 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. If you want the 1/8 of an inch border. And what I mean by that is you see on mine how it has the tiny little smidge of yellow all the way around. I just like the 1/8, the tiny little bit. Some people like the 1/4 of an inch, so it will look more like this. This is where I mismeasured something, so it's all, or I put my mat down wonky, but 1/4 of an inch looks more like this. So you'll see more yellow than you do with an 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so I think I'm going to do my cover in this paper too. Yeah. So the tick before 4 1/4 and the tick before 5 1/2. Okay. So there are my 3, the 2 inside and the cover. Yours might be different because you may want different patterns. And then I'm going to do the inside, so I want 1 pink and 1 blue. I'm just going to take them both together, and we need the tick before 2 1/2, right? Yeah, because those little rectangles are going to be 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. So do your measurements. If you're following along with me, mine are 2 3/8 by 3 3/8. Or the tick before 2 1/2 and the tick before 3 1/2. That's how I do mine. the big tick. If you're using the Stampin' Up! One, it's the big tick because the Stampin' Up! Trimmer does go in 1/16 of an inch. So, alright, so that's all I need there. So I have 4 little ones. Put all that aside. You can do this in the beginning. You can do it, obviously, whenever you want. Okay, so I'm going to bring back my paper trimmer and my scoring tool. You can use your bone folder, but I like to use this scoring tool. I don't know where I got it from, but I love it, and I use it for everything. I have a Stampin' Up! One that I love. I lost it. I found it, and then I lost it again. So, there you go. Okay, back to it. So, a cheat sheet. We're going to go back to our 3 pieces of paper. So, on the 4 1/4 by 11, we're just going to score it in half. So you can score it at 5 1/2 and fold it, or you can just, fold it in half. Your preference. It doesn't really matter for me, but I had the scoreboard out, so I just scored it. Make sure you use your bone folder to crease your folds. Your bone folder is going to be very important. If you don't have a bone folder, pause the video and go get an old credit card or gift card, something like that, because you're going to need really sharp creases on this card. So this piece is done. That's it. Put that away. The next piece we are going to do is the 3 1/2 by 8. So this is the 1 by 8. Okay, very important. 3 1/2 by 8. Make sure you're following along. Right, so this one, we are going to score it on the short side, so the 3 1/2 side. Put that in your scoreboard, and we're going to score that at 1 3/4. So basically in half. That's why it's really important that your cuts were good. So 1 3/4. Okay, it's going to go in half. Now next on the long side, you are going to take your pencil and you're going to pencil mark 2 1/4 and 5 3/4. So after you make like 3 or 4 of them, you're going to be comfortable with just making a little tick mark with your stylus. But for the first one, I suggest using the pencil. It's easier to see, and it will make your life so much easier. So 2 1/4, 2 1/4, however you want to say it, and 5 3/4. So you do want to kind of make these as light as you can, because you will see it. You're going to erase it, but on the white paper it's hard to see. So you see mine 2 1/4, 5 3/4. You're going to turn the paper around, and you'll know at this point if you did not cut your paper correctly, because your tick marks are not going to match up. So this one again, 2 1/4 by 5 3/4. So see how mine match up? They're even. Okay, so this next part, do not do. I'm going to draw what we're going to do in pencil just so you can see it. You do not want to draw this in pencil, okay? This is just for me to show you what we're essentially going to do. So we are going to match up our tick marks, and we're going to make this X, okay? So you're going to do it with your stylus or your bone folder. You are not going to do this with pencil, or you're going to be erasing your life away. Okay? So I'm trying to put it as light as I can. So it's going to essentially look like this. But of course, it's not going to be pencil. It's going to be using your scoring tool. So this part here, and I agree with Tammy, mark one of your lines with a permanent marker. It's going to be so much easier to see. You're going to know what line to follow. She did her 5-inch mark. I did 6. Actually, my 6-inch mark has been like this for forever. You can do any of your lines, but just darken one of them, because it's going to make your life so much easier. So this, I'm telling you, this card, this is the most difficult part right here. So, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but my Facebook notifications, I guess I should have turned it off. Anyway, so you're going to line up your tick marks. So you can see how mine, it goes all the way down, right? That's why I drew the pencil marks so you guys can see. So we're lining up one of the top ticks with one of the bottom ticks, okay, in that groove. So you're going to go ahead and press that in there. And again, I only did the pencil mark so you could see. You do not want to do the pencil mark because I'm going to have to erase it. Okay. Then you're going to rotate it and you're going to do the same thing for your next two tick marks. So see how it all lines up? That's what you want. Okay. So when yours is done, it's going to look like this. So see, my tick marks are made with the stylus. Okay. So that's what you want on this one. So what we're going to do is put this down and we're going to do the rest of our scoring. Now you're going to take your page, which is 3.5 by 10. And you're going to score that at 2.5, 5, and 7.5. So 2.5, 5, 7.5. 2.5, 5, 7.5. Okay. That is all the scoring we need. So you can put your scoreboard away, or your paper trimmer, or however you scored it, put it away. Okay, working with the same piece, the 3.5 by 10, the one we just scored at 2.5, 5, and 7.5. This is very important that you fold this the way that I do it. So you're going to take this bottom piece and you're going to valley. So fold it up. Okay, so it looks like this. You're going to take this next score line and you're going to mountain. Okay, so now it should look like this. And then you're going to valley the next one. So that way, when you open it up, it looks like this. Valley, mountain, valley. Like a W. Okay? So, make sure you crease that really well. This card I would not suggest using anything above a 65-pound weight. I tried to make one with a 110-pound weight, and it was a disaster. Like, it was so stiff. It just made my life too hard. So, you know, not too flimsy, but not too thick. All right, so we're going to set that aside. Now we're going to go back to our 3.5 by 8 piece. This piece is very, very important, okay? This is our whole mechanism. So if you have kids, dogs, cats, anyone bothering you right now, pause the video, come back, because this part, I'm not even going to lie, it took me a few minutes to get it. So, you know, pause the video, get rid of the distractions, and then come back, okay? So what you're going to do is, remember, we have our X and we have our line. We want to fold our page in half. So mountain fold it. Make sure you scored it right. Line it up and crease it. Some of you may not have scored it. Some do better when they don't score it. I probably shouldn't have scored mine in half, but you can just eyeball it and fold it in half. Okay, it's in half. So now we have our mountain. Okay, mountain. Right. So this is very important. This fold here is very important. If you fold it the wrong way, your mechanism is not going to work properly. So because we just mountain folded this, now we are going to valley fold our X. Okay. So see how our X's, I don't know if you can see these X's. We're going to take the score line and fold it towards us for that one. Okay. So it makes that valley. See, we still have our mountain this way, and now we have a valley this way. And now on this one here, we are going to valley fold it Okay, so it should look something like this. These two pieces are still mountain, and your X was valley folded on both sides. We just boom and boom. Okay, doesn't matter if you start this way or that way, it doesn't matter. As long as these are valleys and this is mountain. Okay, so now what you're going to do is, you see how I'm holding it? Thumb down here, pointer finger up here, middle finger kind of in the middle there. Keeping this mountain, you are just going to push the two mountain ends together. Okay, and then it did its own thing. So just push them together and make sure it's lined up, flatten it out. Okay, and every time you do this, something's going to be a little off. I've done like 10 of these cards, and every single time something's off. It doesn't matter. So see how mine is slightly 1/8 of an inch difference? You can leave it, no one's going to see it, or if your OCD doesn't allow you to leave it, you can trim it off. Your bottom pieces are probably going to be 2 different lengths. Mine's slightly off, I'm not going to trim it, but do you see how it is just a hair longer than the other one? Again, if your OCD needs you to trim it, trim it. If not, you're fine. A couple of mine, they've been off on the bottom like a good almost 1/4 of an inch. It's fine, because the main part you're worried about is this triangle bit right here. These bottom ones, who cares? And some of mine have had gaps in the middle, some haven't. I haven't found that it's an issue. Okay, so there's that piece. We're going to put that to the side. And now we're going to take our mats and our original 4 1/4 by 11 piece, and we're going to go ahead and mat it. So it's very important that you mat it now before you put the mechanism on. You just have to mat it now because it's going to be a pain to try to mat around the mechanism. So I'm just going to use some, you know, this Stampin' Up! Calls it snail. I don't know what else it's called. Tape runner. There you go. Just some tape runner. Or wet glue, whatever you have. This doesn't need score tape strength or anything like that. So we're just matting. So remember, mine is the 1/8 of an inch all around. I just eyeball it. You can go in with your Tim Holtz ruler and get it exactly 1/8 of an inch all around, but I don't have time for that. There's that. And I find that if I just lay it down and don't overthink it, that it works every single time. It's when I'm trying to focus and really pay attention to it that it doesn't work. So I learned a long time ago in crafting, like, just do it, have at it. And then the same with this one. So we're just going to, yeah, not drop it. We're just going to line it up. 1/4 of an inch, or 1/8 of an inch all around, and just drop it. Okay. Varnish it to make sure you got a good adhesion. And I'm going to go ahead and do my cover just because I am. So you can put a piece on the back too. Tammy put a piece on the back of her card. It was really cute, but I don't see the point of it because I'm going to put my Created by Tiffany McGill stamp on the back. So I'm just going to put it on the cover. Again, actually I want this one to be the cover. So this is what I do. If I didn't score properly and it has like a little bit overhang, I just make the cover the one that's the longer side. So nobody will know. Well, now you guys do, but. Okay, so 1/4 of an inch all around and drop it. Okay, varnish. So this is what mine, when you open it, what mine looks like. Okay. Now we are going to do our mechanism. Okay. So you need to find the center. You can use your Tim Holtz ruler, and I don't really care. You can center it, but I mean, so it's 2 1/8 is your center. So you can definitely center it with a special tool, but normally I wouldn't go through all this drama. I would just eyeball it. But I'll be fancy on camera. So this is how you use your centering tool. You put the 0 and then you just keep moving it until it's even on both sides. But I just know half of 4 1/4 is 2 1/8. So there you go. Okay, so you're gonna put the tip of your mechanism right up to that line. You don't want it to go into the fold because it won't close. So right up to the score line, the knot's in the score line. So what I like to do is I like to put it up against the pattern paper so it still gives that 1/8 of an inch from the score line. So that's what you can do, or you can do whatever you like. So you're going to make sure that your mechanism is straight or even on both sides, as even as you want. And we're going to take either, you can score tape this here or use wet glue. Earlier I used score tape just because I couldn't find my zip dry, but I found my zip dry. So you'd want to use a quick drying glue for this. So zip dry, art glitter glue, the one by Scotch, whatever. Don't use like your normal, I normally use Elmer's Craft Bond, but it took forever to dry, and I had to put the little clamp things on there. So you need a fast drying one. So once you get your glue on, you're just gonna close it. Okay, give it a second. Okay, and now we're just gonna flip it over and open it back up. So now this side is the side that does not have the glue. We're gonna do the same thing. Glue it up. Or if you use score tape, use your score tape. I think if I was mass producing these, I would probably just use my score tape just so I could lay, you know, 2 strips down and call it done, but whatever makes your life easier. I wouldn't use tape runner on that because it is we're doing the pop-up mechanism. So we're doing this part right here, this back part. I don't know if you can see in there. That's the part we're doing. So varnish that, make sure there's good adhesion. Is that a word? I don't know. So when you open it, it looks like this. Okay? Looks like that. Now I remember why I didn't put the covers on first before. It doesn't matter actually. So what you're going to do now is open this back up. So this part is going to crunch your card a little bit on the top. And I knew there was a reason why I didn't put my covers on first. So if you do this part before you put your front cover on, that'll be a little better because it'll cover that crunchy lineup. But I don't really think it's going to do anything. So you're going to kind of flatten it out just a little bit. And you're going to take your paper, the 3.5 by 10, the one that we did the Mountain Valley on, and you're going to line that mountain up with the center. So again, use your Tim Holtz or eyeball it. You can mat your piece now if you want, but I'm not. So my center 2 1/8, 2 1/8, and here's my center. So again, I'm just being fancy for the camera, just showing off that I know how to use a ruler. You don't have to. Normally I don't. So you're going to line the center score line, your mountain, up with that center tick mark, the center of your bottom part, okay? So now we're going to take this flap. You see how this is the flap, This is the other piece. We're going to fold this over here and we're going to glue right here on this rectangle only. So on this top rectangle only. You're not going to do anything other than this top rectangle. And that's very important because I've tried it several different ways and you can only do this top rectangle. Okay, so you're going to stop at that score line and then flip this back over, let it adhere. Make sure you have it lined up. If it's not lined up, it is a little crooked and wonky, but it still looks cute. Okay, so make sure that glue is nice and tight. So now we're going to go to the left side and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to flip that loose piece over, but this time we're going to glue the bottom only. Okay, just this bottom rectangle. You are not going to do the top, just the bottom. If you do not do this opposite, it will not work. And you know, Tammy told us that, and I just wanted to see for myself, and she was right. It does not work. You have to do it in opposites. Okay, so it's glued. Let me find my cap and flip it down. Make sure it's you know, lined up nicely, and there we go. Give it a good burnish, your finger or your bone folder. Okay. So now you're just gonna fluff it up a little bit, making sure mine's lined up. This is why you need a quick drying glue. Okay, so basically you're done. So you're just gonna fold it in, and the first couple of times it is gonna need a little bit of help. Open and closing. So here we go. Pop in, close. Pop open, close. So I know I don't like that when you pop it open you can see the mechanism, but I mean it's such a wild card. I don't think your recipient's going to really care. It's just the crafter in us that cares about that. So now we're just going to mat these. Oh, I picked pink and blue like a baby shower, but oh well. Whatever. I usually don't like to pick pink and blue together because it reminds me of baby showers, or like red and green because it's just automatically Christmas to me. Which I know that's weird, but welcome to me. So let me put my zip dryer away before I waste it or lose it again. I use some tape runner and 1/8 of an inch. As I said, you could mat these when it was flat, but you don't have to. And my blue one. This is Eileen's tape runner. I got this from Boscov's. I don't know if that store's anywhere other than the East Coast, but it's in Delaware. And I got it. They had the clearance sale on it. It was like 20 cents. And I bought every single one of them. And it's lasted me for a couple years now. Now I think I'm down to like 2 left. Because I don't know if they're refillable or not, but they're discontinued, so. Okay, so a few more. And actually I'm gonna go ahead and tape this one. And we are almost done, guys. Outside of the decoration on the front, which I'm not gonna do on camera because you guys can do your own. I'll put a picture when I'm done with it on my Facebook page, Coffee, Cake, and Crafting, because I'm not really sure what I'm going to do on the cover. I'm probably going to make a flower. Okay. So there's that one. That's a little crooked, but who cares? And then my pink one. So there you have it. Just help it out a little bit. And then, oh, this is my cover. So yeah, if you put your cover on, make sure you do your inside the directionally correct. Now, if you use the 8.5 by 11 paper to make yours, you're gonna have this little strip. It's 3/4 of an inch by 11. So you're going to go ahead, you can make a belly band if you want. I may make a belly band. So that's just how you make the belly band. Or you can close it with a magnet, with Velcro. You can leave it as is. But that's the card. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.